You have to be careful about making a weird show or watching a weird show.
Hello, this is Greg Smalley on Pod 366, a Weird Movies podcast, joined this week, as I often am, by the unconventional Giles Edwards.
Hello, everybody.
Still in blurry VHS mode, but that's good. Up top, note, next week we will have a guest. It's been a while, but we will have a guest. Jason Trost, J-Tro, formerly of the FP series, now of Waves of Madness, the side-scrolling Lovecraftian horror that might be starting a new franchise for him.
Yeah.
I think a sequel was announced, or hinted, or teased, I should say, in the Waves of Madness movie, so that could be a new series for him, and that's probably the kind of thing that we might want to ask him about next week. For this week, we have largely a selection of Blu-ray HD releases, physical media, nothing actually in theaters this week, but we will start off with some late-breaking news on a feature film that we have been keeping an eye on, we should say, for many years, to be honest. Giles, I have screenshotted a image here. Would you like to describe it for our vision-impaired viewers?
This is nighttime, probably exterior. This is a fairly close-up shot of a burning pile of leaves and sticks and other dry combustible debris. And in the center of this burning pile, we see upside down, it looks like a photograph of a smiling woman whose eyes, I believe, in the picture have been cut out so that there's this delightful little lick of flame through one of them that adds a nicely haunting touch to this image.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm not sure what it is. I thought it was a mask. It certainly looks like
Oh, yeah, it could be a mask.
certainly looks like the hair is like real, but the face
Okay.
is not.
Okay. Well, I'm not only low-res camera, I'm low-res screen, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's a still from what?
That thing you sent me a link to at the earlier today.
And
Not that thing.
it's the name is Bugonia.
Bugonia,
Bugonia.
yes, which is a plant, right? Some sort of plant.
Well, there is a plant called a begonia, B-E-G.
Oh, okay. This is Bugonia.
This is bug,
Bug.
insect.
Oh, Bugonia. Yeah.
And it is, of course, Yorgos Lanthimos's remake of the Korean cult film Save the Green Planet, which is on our canonically weird list. So we have the rare situation of a director with multiple canonically weird entries on our list doing a remake of another movie that is on our list. So obviously we have been excited for this since we heard the news, which was really not, I mean, it's maybe been a decade ago that I think Lanthimos announced that he was interested in this. It's been quite a while.
Yeah.
The news is today, as we record this, which is June 26th, Thursday, they released the first official full-length trailer. We had seen a teaser before. We now have a full-length trailer from Focus Features, and we have a date, an approximate date of October 2025 for this to show up in theaters from Focus Features, starring, since it's starring Lanthimos's new crew that he likes to use, Emma Stone in her, I think, third movie, Jesse Plemons in his second movie. Another guy, I'm not sure who that other guy was, but uh, Stone and Plemons are
And
the main.
Alicia Silverstone, I see on the list here, and I haven't
Okay.
observed that name for decades, but
I just recently saw her in a small role in a horror room horror movie that name is escaping me, where she did pretty well, but I have seen her around recently. The plot of Save the Green Planet just very basically involves two kind of crazy paranoid people. In the Korean movie, it's a man and a woman who is kind of in love with him, and they kidnap a corporate executive, believing him to be an alien, with the intention of torturing him and forcing him to call off an upcoming alien invasion. In this one, there are two males, Plemons and his sidekick, kidnapping the female corporate executive. Having watched the trailer, Giles, did you watch the trailer? I
I
assume.
did watch the trailer.
And
I
do you have any thoughts on it?
Oh, it certainly looks exciting, and could quite probably hew toward the weird, but there wasn't anything overtly odd going on. But then again, this is Lanthimos, and it is based on that other movie, so I'm still optimistic.
Yeah, it was interesting. I thought it did not look like a Lanthimos movie, did it? I mean, people were
Yeah, I could
not.
see, yeah, speed up the trailer pacing a little bit, and you could have a Michael Bay thing going on.
Michael Bay may be a stretch, but it was. It didn't have the the sort of affectless acting that he's famous for. They seem to be everything seemed to be fairly naturalistic. This image we've chosen looks fairly surreal and startling, I'd say, from the trailer.
Hmm.
Also, for the first time, I think I've in a Lanthimos movie, I can't recall him ever using, and maybe this is just in the trailer, like a rock music song in
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Usually he goes for very avant-garde, dissonant classical music to score everything. But this looks more like it has a regular sort of comedy cadence to it.
Yeah. So I mean, and that too, could add an oddness if that tone is prevalent in the movie proper.
Yes, so it's going to be interesting to see. It seems tonally different than his other movies, and it's got a lot of weird credibility, but we will see what happens. Definitely something I will be checking out. And so that is Begonia, which we are looking forward again in October. Find the trailer for yourself on YouTube. It should not be very difficult at all. And watch that sucker. But now we're going to get into one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, or eight uh,
Hmm.
releases
Oh,
on physical
baby.
media.
My goodness, look at this.
We're going to start with this one, which is the newest movie, although I believe this had already been released. All of these, I think, are re-releases. None of them are being released for the first time. But this one is being released in the Steelbook format, and now Giles can describe this rather large promotional widescreen spread.
All right, this is probably the most I've ever seen made of just a case and a disc. The case has a slip cover, which is mostly translucent or transparent, which lifts the title away from the disc if you when you pull it off as you open this thing, revealing a somewhat very stylistic looking person. It's a black and white photo and doubtless hews close to the reality of this person's form, but this person in question is a very odd entity in the annals of cinema. They show us the open interior of this steel book 4K Ultra HD thing. which is your typical crime investigator desk full of little objects to, cross-reference with each other, trying to figure out what's going on with who. Nestled almost as an afterthought along the bottom here is the actual disc, which, being the 4K Ultra HD disc that it is holding all the myriad extras in here, including ones that they claim have never before been seen. And they also show you the back, which has a woman covering her mouth in dismay, and you can remove all the little text blurbs that I guess are printed on the Steelbook case that this is presented in.
Yeah, I'm not sure what these features are that they say were never before seen. This was released on Blu-ray before, and I guess looking at the original Blu-ray release, I don't see any extra features listed on the site. So maybe everything that comes with this is new. The original Blu-ray came out in when? September 2024.
Okay.
And this, we are now in almost a year later. They're releasing the Steelbook with these special features. And just going by the back cover, which I can blow up on my screen, the bonus features include feature commentary with Osgood Perkins, on-set interviews, and then it says never before seen featurettes. So maybe the other two were on the Blu-ray. The never before seen featurettes include Osgood Perkins and Theo James in conversation, meeting Longlegs, Maika Monroe's heartbeat, something called Clues and Evidence, something called the Rorschach test, something called Andres Arochi's onset diary, something called Fire Fire Hiss, and then teasers and trailers and more.
And I guess we should mention this is for Longlegs.
Oh yeah, have we not even said what it's for? Yes, it's for Longlegs. If you couldn't see it, is the screen sharing still up there, Giles?
Yes. I can still see the wide spread of this case.
All right. Yes, it is Longlegs, which is the movie. It's a horror movie from director Osgood Perkins, sort of an occultist thing that we probably would not have covered at all if it was not mentioned by a reader and not for the star whose movies we tend to, well, he's not actually the main above the line star, I guess, but the main.
He is certainly quite weird in this good, fairly, I say run of the mill in that it's sort of more of a typical horror thriller.
Yes.
Than as opposed to a weird horror thriller.
Yes, it's Nick Cage, and his performance is probably the only thing that's really out there. I remember liking it as I watched it. It's above average for a horror movie. Hasn't really super stuck in my mind, but I still have a certain fondness for it. I wasn't sure about Nick Cage in the role itself, though. I think somebody else could have played it. I don't think his caginess didn't really, it was more distracting than adding to it for me, but that could be just my peculiarity. What do you think, Giles?
Oh, I think there's merit to what you say. The role in question, I guess, didn't have to be Cage. Being a fan of the actor, I was pleased to see him once again go places that others wouldn't. But then again, different others also would go those places. But all told, I'm happy he was there, and it lent a certain weight to it that probably resulted in more people seeing it. So
yeah, I would have cast Willem Dafoe, but they may not have been able to get him.
Trying to think, yeah, I'm trying. Who are the young odd actors? I guess I need to start drilling down and Clemens pretty odd.
I don't know who any young actors are, but we'll find out when we see some new movies. recently. Let's go to another one, and once again we have a promotional spread.
We
And
sure
I'll try not to forget to mention the name of the movie after Giles describes
do.
what we have here.
All right. Well, we've got some lobby cards here of the various three main characters of the movie. We have an interesting beach postcard. We've got a psychiatrist's business card. There are two discs with the title of the feature and some spiraling as is appropriate. There is the inner box or inner casing, which features a very famous distressed fellow in front of a clock. Looks like there's a pretty hefty tome of a booklet there. And the box itself, I can look at my own copy here, is a nice sort of 20s, 30s movies poster style picture of many of the goings on and themes of this particular film, including the broken piece or irregularly pieced stained glass clock is there, some warped buildings, a top view of a round mouse maze, and a fella in a trench coat running along a pier bridge that seems to be building itself as he steps on it. So those who know this movie well may have guessed the title already, but yeah, this is a nice addition from the good people at Arrow Video.
Dark City.
That's right.
So you bought this
I
this
did.
edition?
Yeah, I pre-ordered it some months ago, and I've actually been sitting on my own copy for a while now, despite it having seemingly been in just pre-order until very recently. And I guess one thing also worth mentioning that isn't quite clear is it comes with this neat poster,
Okay.
which is
Let
reversible.
me see. Hold on. Let me stop the share. Put
Oh,
your well, put your poster up again. Let's.
we got the Dark City, the stylized older movie kind of look, and of course the classic theatrical release thing as well, and that folds up nicely. Good heavy stock paper. And inside this case,
And it is a HD, 4K UHD, and a
4K.
Blu-ray.
Yep. 2-disc 4K Ultra HD limited edition.
So it's two discs are both Ultra UD. There's no.
Let me take a peek here. They are both Ultra HD. Okay. One disc has the director's cuts, one disc has the theatrical cut, and also crammed, possibly on both, certainly between them, are the extras, and it looks like they both have commentaries. And I wouldn't be surprised if, they include the original one with Roger Ebert, who was a major advocate for this movie. And so all told, very beautiful and thorough, but I think my favorite is this business card for Kiefer Sutherland's Daniel Schreiber character, that on the back advises never talk to strangers.
So there are like 5 audio commentaries for this, it appears, including one by Ebert. Wow.
Yeah.
I don't recall Ebert doing a lot of audio commentaries, so
he did. Yeah, I don't think he did. I wouldn't say this is the only one, but it's the only one I know of, and I read up on him for a while. So yeah, he was big fan of this movie.
He was a big promoter of this movie, and it may be one of the reasons why I ended up seeing it. Although I think if I had seen the trailer in the theaters, which I probably did, I thought, oh, that's something I have to go see.
I saw it in theaters. I believe I still have my ticket stub from 1998 when it was competing against Titanic's Sixth Week.
So
won.
Just in case you don't know what Dark City is, it is a canonically weird movie of ours. So this is a major release, although this movie has been released many times over the years. I guess you'd call it a psychological thriller set in a dark city that is pretty much eternal night, and seems to reset itself periodically. Is that fair to say without?
Yeah, usually it runs for each day, as it were, runs for 12 hours before it's set back, the clock is reset for when they alter the experiment.
And there are a lot of Nosferatu characters in it. And it's about our hero, Kiefer Sutherland, attempting to break out of the.
Oh, it's about our hero Rufus Sewell attempting to
Rufus
break
Sewell.
out.
Kiefer Sutherland is not the hero, but
He's the guy.
He's the guy. Yes, but he's in it. So, right. And trying to break out of that loop that the whole entire city is in.
Yeah.
All right. And Jennifer Connelly is in it, and she is a singer who doesn't sing her own stuff, but is dubbed rather wonderfully.
And Richard O'Brien too from Rocky Horror Picture Show has a prominent role as one of the mysterious gentlemen in a black leather trench coat. So yeah,
there you go.
A lot of things going for it.
Dark City, major release, but not a unique one like all of them this week. I'm going to get into two more releases that are kind of paired, and these are both can be discussed rather quickly. The first one has a rather racy cover for Giles.
Well, I'm going to say this poster style screams late 60s, early 70s. We've got a sort of slightly surreal fairy tale look to these characters, the center of which is I'm going to say, naked woman done at an angle in which for which makes it classy instead of tawdry. And she looks like she's being assaulted by a large crimson tinged bat looking thing. Above floats a red orb from which is staring a wide-eyed green face with hair parted in the middle going down the sides of the head. And up along the bottom are various further stylized figures. I'm going to say perhaps some Roma-looking people, certainly old world peasant kind of thing going on the left-hand side, and they're standing in front of a mountaintop castle-looking thing that's under a small full moon. And on the right, in various shades of soft blue, is a scantily clad female individual holding a three-pronged candelabra.
All right. And that's it. Nude woman, very tasteful, I guess. Gothically.
More tasteful than it had to be.
More tasteful than, that's a French movie poster. In America, the movie poster would have been less, even more tasteful, I guess.
Or probably would have focused more on violence than the eroticism.
Okay, so it's The Shiver of the Vampires. This is out in now its standard 4K Ultra HD edition. We had mentioned it when it was out in its limited edition Ultra 4K UHD. We have discussed this movie many, many times. It is apocryphally weird. It is the movie after long debate and discussion, including with Terry Gorgirl McSorley and Eric Kirsten. We came up with this as probably the most representative of Jean Rollin's vampire movies, the one that gets the most universal praise. If you did a ranked voting of them, where everybody listed their favorites, it's got a great soundtrack by a little jazz rock group called Acanthus that nobody seems to know anything about. We're just involved in this and then disappeared, and they're all quite mysterious, but it's a memorable soundtrack. It's got bourgeois vampires who are sort of comic, and it's got, of course, lots of naked women and some great imagery like a vampire emerging from a grandfather clock. It's highly recommended, and as we say, we settled on this as the Jean Rollin vampire movie to see if you're just seeing only one. You should see all of them, but... So anything to add, Giles?
No, it's looking at nothing in particular, though. Looking at the features, it does look like this has a director commentary. Jean Rollin has, of course, passed away, but in '06, he was good enough to sit down and talk through this movie. So that is among the dozen or so things lurking about this special 4K Ultra HD edition from Indicator.
Right. The standard edition comes with everything the limited edition came with, except for the 80-page booklet, which had a lot of good stuff
Mhm.
for collectors in it. But other than that, you get everything. And again, this next one is pretty much in the same vein. So go ahead and describe this cover if you
Yeah,
would.
yeah. Once again, a bit of stylization, but this time hewing quite a bit closer to a sort of cartoon kind of realism, I guess. There's a crimson sky that is interspersed with striated cloud structures. There's a golden orb in the background that, considering the title and director, I'm going to guess is actually a moon and not a sun. Bottom right hand side, we have a couple naked looking younger women sitting on the ground. There's someone wearing not too much a little further in the background, looking off deep into the far back distance of this image. And of course, dominating this with a delightful bit of foreshortening, we see the massive blade of a scythe angled toward us, the viewer, and it is being held by a blonde woman who appears to be naked except for some nice boots and a striking black cape cloak kind of thing. And her cape and her hair are waving in a breeze that I guess is happening in this strange red nighttime.
Right, and that's Fascination. Another racy cover. The nude women are, their naughty butts are very carefully and skillfully covered up by various hands and so forth. Um, and it is Fascination, which is more of a conventional movie from Jean Rollin from 1980, or maybe it was 79. Um, the women are sort of vampires, but they're not really. They drink blood, but they're not really classic vampires in this. But it's much more. It has a. It's very polished for a Roland picture, and probably moves a bit faster than most of them, and is more something good for a mainstream person who's looking to get involved in Roland. Will see this is maybe more tolerable form of arty horror. The cover scene with the actress Brigitte Lahaye dressed as Death in that cloak that barely covers her, carrying the scythe, does happen in the movie. So no false advertising there. But this is also another one that was in a limited edition now this week, coming out in a standard edition. A less essential movie than Shivers of the Vampire. Anything to say, Giles, or should we move on?
I guess we can move on after I quickly observed that I was surprised by the trailer you shared with me, Greg, and that I was not expecting a Human League song to be underscoring a Jean Rollin montage.
Well, that's what fan-made trailers will do. So um, I did that. I knew you'd want to hear it, though, Giles. You want to hear that new wave music when you can. Um, So here's another one that has been released before. This is a nice version, much nicer version than previous versions of this movie, I believe. You want to describe the cover here, Giles?
Yeah, we've got a very storybook kind of feel to this. There's a pathway to an illuminated door or opening in the distance of the image, and it's lined by some delightful trees in full bloom. And traveling up this pathway facing away from us is a heavy-set black woman with a simple sort of tank top shirt, blue jeans, and she's pulling behind her a little one of those wheel kind of luggage things as she makes her way toward whatever that portal leads to in the distance.
Okay.
So
And the movie is Palindromes, which I believe is coming out for the first time. Well, it kind of skipped over Blu-ray and went straight to 4K. If I'm not incorrect with this one, I'm not sure I see a standard Blu-ray release.
yeah, certainly not at the main site indicating there at least. Yeah,
No.
it looks like it was DVD and then skip Blu-ray. So 4K.
Well, this is, I should mention, this is a 4K and Blu-ray dual format release. So it is a limited edition of Palindromes by Todd Solondz, I believe is how you say his name. I've never heard anybody pronounce it. A famous director of Happiness and Welcome to the Dollhouse and other movies that are black as black comedy could possibly ever get.
Yeah, his feel-bad movie genre.
Feel-bad movie genre, yes. On this cover, we have a nice description of it. Since I haven't seen it, Giles, have you seen it?
I have not seen it.
I didn't think so, but we have a description that comes on the cover, which we can read. Ever since she was small, Aviva has desperately wanted a baby. Now a teenager with thoughts and feelings her parents, Ellen Barkin and Richard Mazur, don't quite know how to handle, she'll stop at nothing to make that dream a reality. Played by a cast of rotating actors, including Jennifer Jason Leigh, Todd Solondz brings his trademark dry wit to another series of taboos in this provocative portrait of American girlhood that interrogates the naivety and hypocrisy of the post 9/11 psyche.
Dry wit indeed.
So I guess kind of the experiment here, or gimmick, if you want to call that is that the female protagonist is played by a series of different actors and actresses of various races and genders. I don't know how many of them there are.
I read we've had this kicking around on the site for a while now from Jason Ubermo,
Yes.
who I think I read this earlier this afternoon. It looks like 4 or 5 different actors playing this, depending upon the kind of psychological state of the character.
Right. And so that is the experimental aspect of it, and Palindromes tells you something about the structure of that as well. This is a limited edition, limited to 3,000 copies from Radiance. It comes with some special features, including it. First off, the 4K restoration is from the Museum of Modern Art. I didn't know the Museum of Modern Art did restorations, but that's pretty cool. New interview with Todd Solondz and critic Hannah Strong. New interview with actor Alexander Brickle. Video essay by critic Lillian Crawford. And that's pretty much the new stuff. The booklet features a bunch of essays and so forth. This was recommended by Jason Ubermoke, as Giles pointed out, and I have not seen it yet to approve or reject it. So this is a good excuse to get into it. But we are running a little slow on time, so we're going to go through the last 3 a bit quicker. Fortunately, this cover won't take very long to describe, so go ahead and...
All right, we're looking at 6 lines of text. There's texturing to the font. It is just the title on a black background. I guess it kind of looks like textured print slugs, kind of things you line up, to stamp a series of words on things. So yeah, this is a very straightforward poster that, presuming all the elements in question are there, is very honest too.
Yeah. And it's they're kind of glittery gold fonts, and there goes Giles. But I will read the title is 32 Short Films About Glenn Gould. This is a movie I have seen. It is indeed 32 short films about Glenn Gould, so experimental. I would say maybe 3 or 4 of the short films are weird. That was enough for somebody, a reader, to suggest us to put this on the list. Glenn Gould, very fascinating individual, classical piano player, tended to mumble a lot during his recordings, which was considered very unusual, but he was such a prodigy at the piano that people overlooked that. And that's that. Out from the Criterion Collection. I'll probably end up seeing this again, then making a decision about whether those 3 or 4 weird films of the 32 merit some form of honor for this movie. But let's quickly move on since we're down to about 4 minutes to this still from a movie that Giles will describe.
All right, we've got a very clinical thing going on here. We've got some lab tables that are all white. We've got a ceiling that's white, fluorescent lights that are white. In fact, the brightest thing in this picture is a green pair of vertical green bars indicating the exit to this room. In the foreground, we have very clinical looking, very pale, almost wan, possibly facially hairless, including eyebrows, maybe doctor-looking person with white gloves, white doctor coat thing, and he's fiddling with something with his hand. And seated in the roughly center of this is a young woman who is also very pale, as advertised heavily by the fluorescent lights. She's got either very light brown hair or darkish blonde hair, and she's tilting back. Looks like she might be swallowing something being dripped to her in a tube that she is holding to her open mouth.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there, but it's very clinical and strange looking. The woman is Emily Browning. The movie is Sleeping Beauty. It is a movie I have not seen. I presume Giles has not seen it.
I have not, unfortunately.
Pamela de Graaf reviewed it for our site many, many years ago, probably soon after it came out in 2011. Going by the trailer, it's very dreamy, and it's about a girl who gets sucked into being a sort of courtesan for the ultra-rich who have some perversions, which you might guess from the title. And I believe that's about what it's about. Do you know anything else or have anything to add, Giles?
I do not.
Okay. That is Sleeping Beauty, now on Blu-ray for the first time, despite being a 2011 film that was fairly well regarded. But let's go to our last and probably least movie in today's.
Just because it had a $13,000 budget, Greg.
Go ahead, Giles.
All right, we got Black. We got the title and various credits done in a very tall, awkward bit of font work here. Only image to speak of, left-hand side, maybe the left-hand third, is a gaunt, stretched out, stylized human form, long, creepy fingers, long, distended arms bound together by handcuffs, and then above the handcuffs are 2 separate manacles that are holding these arms up, and it's supporting a body on which is a rabbit-eared facial and head covering. I'm loath to call it rabbit overall in appearance, but those ears are definitely rabbit ears, though the rest is a bit creepier even than creepy rabbit ears.
Yeah, of indeterminate gender, I would say. It is the movie is Bunny Game. I think it's on Blu-ray for the first time. Black and white, experimental, kind of a avant-garde torture porn movie as far as I can tell. It was banned in Britain very famously. So it is about a prostitute, drug-addicted prostitute who's picked up by a truck-driving serial killer and sort of tortured for the length of the movie.
I guess worth mentioning out, inspired by the real-life experience of the person who stars in it.
Yeah. Yes. So she's not being exploited so much as kind of working through some trauma there. Very extreme movie, may be of interest to some. Not sure. I've been covering it, mentioning it since it first came out. Some people think it's weird. I don't know. Not something I'm really looking forward to seeing. It's got a very low IMDb rating and nobody talking favorably about it, but so we are. Hey, we're about out of time, so we're going to say goodbye. Tune in next week and see us as we talk to Jason Trost, and we'll take off for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Weird. Yeah, I guess that is the word for it. Weird.